The next speaker is Deputy Eoin Murphy.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be very brief. I really wanted to speak just to support Deputy Toomey and to congratulate him on bringing this bill forward, also to thank the Minister for his comments and to commend Deputy Keating on his. I agreed much with what he said. I was fortunate enough to study an arts degree in UCD, and my friends always asked me whether it was worth anything or not. And part of my philosophy course, we did an elective on biomedical ethics. And during that, we studied ethical questions in relation to the state, society and medicine insofar as advanced medical healthcare was concerned, and looking at everything from in vitro fertilization, IVF, all the way up to end-of-life issues. And we went from first principles, looked at the technology, and it was actually incredibly informative for me, and much of the reading that I did at the time and the learning that I experienced has informed much of my approaches to these types of issues. I didn't think at the time that I'd have the opportunity to be actually considering them as a legislator a few years on, but I support Deputy Toomey's bill and much that it aims to achieve. And this idea of empowering the patient and this idea about care, as Deputy Keating talks about at the end of one's life, I think is incredibly important, and how we view and how we discuss that. There is perhaps more to do, and Deputy Toomey was gracious enough to admit that there is improvements or changes that could be made to this bill. And one which has been highlighted already has been brought to our attention and been brought to mind by Amnesty International. And it regards the advanced directives that apply to mental health. Now, I was giving a briefing by them, and I was reading through it. And one bit that caught my eye, and I'd just like to refer to here, was in relation to the Law Reform Commission when it was in front of the Justice Committee, talking about the capacity legislation. And Patricia Ricard-Clark of the Law Reform Commission did state that a person cannot refuse basic care, but can refuse artificial life-sustaining treatment. And that was what people were trying to get out with the capacity legislation. And she went on to say that ideally, advanced care directives should be a part of the capacity legislation. Now, according to Amnesty, if that advice were to be taken on board, then Section 6.8c of Deputy Toomey's bill would have to be amended or deleted to allow for the use of such advanced directives for people with mental health difficulties. And I would ask Deputy Toomey to consider that as we take this bill forward and take it to committee stage.